The ship chosen was called the Veritas, a neutral science vessel with no weapons. Inside, a small crew prepared for the most dangerous mission in the galaxy, to visit the forgotten planet. Among them was historian Vec Talos, an expert on human history. He stared out the window as the stars moved. "If the stories are true," he said softly, "we're not just visiting a planet. We're stepping into a legend." Meanwhile, deep in a forgotten sector, another signal echoed. It was from a medical transport ship attacked by raiders. The Council tried to respond, but before their ships could arrive, the human warship appeared again. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It absorbed the raider weapons into its hull, then released a quiet pulse of gravity that folded space. The raiders vanished, erased, not killed, erased. The survivors on the transport ship stared in silence as the warship hovered over them, then turned and vanished into the void. No reward, no thanks. No message, just presence, power, and silence. By now, the stories were out of control. Some believed the warship was a god. Others thought it was a punishment from the old gods of space. A few said it wasn't even human anymore, that it was something worse. Across the galaxy, systems began shutting down their emergency beacons out of fear. No one wanted to risk Earth hearing them by accident, and in places where evil once ruled, pirates, slavers, and warmongers began to disappear. Not in battles, they simply vanished, left behind with strange marks. Always the same, a circle, a line, and a single word burned into metal. Watched. On the Veritas, the crew finally approached Earth. But what they saw shocked them. Earth was not destroyed, it was protected. Around the planet floated hundreds of dark satellites, all pulsing with strange energy. Some were larger than moons. All of them were scanning, calculating, listening. The planet itself looked untouched. Blue oceans, green lands, clouds, but no ships left the surface. No lights, no cities visible. It was like Earth was alive. "And to sleep," Vec Talos whispered. "We were wrong. They didn't fall. They just turned away from us." Suddenly, the ship's systems went dark. Every screen, every engine. Then a voice echoed, calm but powerful. "You approach Earth. State your reason." "You have one chance." The captain froze. "We are here to understand." Silence. Then the voice returned. "Then listen." A hologram appeared. It showed ancient battles. Human fleets defeating massive armadas. World saved. Enemies destroyed. Then betrayal. The Council turning against Earth, shutting them out, lying, spreading fear. And finally, Earth's choice. Silence. They created machines to answer real distress. Machines that would protect without asking permission. Machines that no longer need orders. The voice continued. "We do not want war, but we will not allow cruelty. If you harm the weak, we come. If you lie, we watch. If you scream, we answer." Then the ship's systems turned back on. A final message appeared on their screen. "This is not a threat. This is balance. Earth remembers. Earth listens." The Veritas turned back. There was nothing left to do. No questions left to ask. Earth had spoken. And across the galaxy, everyone heard. Fear was no longer a feeling. It had become a warning system across the galaxy, and that warning had a name now. Earth. Every corner of the galaxy was changing. In the trade halls of Zarnak, merchants whispered about ships that vanished after harming refugee convoys. On the prison planet of Sathor 9, guards refused to use force on prisoners, worried that a single scream might summon the Black Ghost ship. And in deep space, distress beacons were going silent. Not because there was peace, but because no one dared call for help. On the Council's military moon, Admiral Ralek stood in his war room. He stared at the footage from the Veritas mission, the Black warship. The AI message. "The silent judgment. This is dangerous," Ralek said. "This Earth protocol, it's not peace. It's a leash, a quiet threat." Ambassador Lishra shook her head. "It's balance. For years we ignored cries for help. Now someone answers them." Ralek slammed his fist on the table. "They answer with destruction, without trials, without laws." Lishra leaned in. "And yet no innocent has died. Only the cruel vanish." The room went quiet. No one could argue that. In the underground world of HFY, a band of warlords planned a test. "We will send a fake distress signal," one said. "We will bait the human ship. And then we will destroy it." His second-in-command raised a brow. "If you're wrong, we won't survive," the warlord growled. "I'd rather die than live in fear of an old planet." The message was sent. A fake plea, screams, coordinates, then silence. Hours passed, nothing came. The warlords laughed, but just before sunrise their sky turned black. Not with clouds, with ships, not one. 10 silent black vessels. No markings, no lights. One message appeared in the air, hovering in bright red. "You lied. You will not lie again." The entire warlord base was gone in minutes. No explosions, no fire, just vanishing. When council scouts arrived days later, all they found was scorched ground, and one word burned into the stone: judged. That story spread faster than any beacon ever could. Soon, pirates dropped their weapons, slavers freed their captives, even some black market dealers closed shops, because in this galaxy there were no more safe lies, only silence or judgment. At a small council academy, students were shown old footage of Earth's early years. A professor said softly, "We feared them because they learned faster than us, loved deeper than us, fought harder than us. And when we pushed them away, they chose silence, not war." A student raised her hand. "Do they still have leaders?" The professor replied, "No, not anymore. Only watchers, machines, guardians that obey only one command: protect the innocent." The class went quiet. Even the children could feel it. The weight of knowing Earth was not gone. It was just awake. Back in the cold sector of Xylene Drift, a patrol ship picked up a strange energy spike. "Another Earth ship?" the captain asked. "No, something else." On their screen they saw a council military fleet, cornering a small civilian freighter. The freighter had sent no distress call, but suddenly a pulse of light shot through space. The warship's engines froze, their weapons shut down, and out of the void, the Earthship appeared. This one was smaller than before, but just as deadly. It released a beam of soft, violet light, and the council ships lost control. Not destroyed, disabled, they were forced to float, watching as the freighter escaped safely. Then the warship vanished, leaving one message carved into nearby asteroid rock: "We do not care who you are, only what you do." Now, even the council began to change. Their rules shifted. They created new peace orders, released innocent prisoners, reduced military patrols in weak zones. Not because they wanted peace, but because they feared being watched. In a secret chamber, council leaders debated a final plan. "What if we hunt them?" one asked. "Track the ships. Destroy the system." "They are not a system," Lishra replied. "They are a warning," Ralek shouted. "We cannot be ruled by ghosts." Another leader whispered, "Perhaps we should ask Earth for peace." But no one moved, because deep down they all feared the same thing. What if Earth no longer wants peace? And somewhere, far from all council eyes, deep in the void, a massive structure floated in the shadows. Black towers, endless rows of sleeping ships, human ships. In the center was the original warship, its AI pulsed softly, listening, waiting. And then, one soft signal reached it, real, desperate, not fake, not bait. A child, crying, in danger. The ship powered up, engines lit, its eye opened. Distress confirmed. Deploying judgment. Earth had become a name spoken with fear, not because it attacked without warning, but because it only attacked when warning was ignored. The galaxy had changed. Distress signals had become prayers, and Earth, silent, dark and distant, had become the god that answered only real pain. But one question still echoed across council halls. War rooms and rebel hideouts. Why? Why did Earth vanish? Why did it leave behind these watchers? Why respond only now? To find out, the council sent a final team. Not to investigate the ships, not to study the distress signals, but to land on Earth itself. The vessel chosen was called Truth Seeker. It carried only 5 members, diplomats, historians, and a lone AI translator. As it neared Earth's orbit, they saw it again, The ring of satellites, each one silent scanning, watching. The ship slowed. A message appeared. Your intent is not violence. Permission granted. One location only. The coordinates led to a desert, dry, vast, untouched by time. The ship descended. Dust blew across ancient stone, and there it was, a door. They stepped out carefully. No weapons, no armor, only questions. The translator AI spoke. This area is marked in the oldest Terran database as the Vault of Origin. No key was needed. As they approached, the door opened itself, quietly, like it had been expecting them. Inside was darkness, and then lights. Soft blue beams lit a narrow tunnel, lined with metal walls etched in languages no longer used, Earth's languages. At the end of the tunnel was a chamber, massive, silent. In the center floated a glowing cube, spinning slowly on the walls. Images, Earth's past, wars, empires, spaceflight, colonies, betrayals, then silence, and then the Watchers, ships unlike any the galaxy had ever seen, built not for war, but for intervention. Built by humans, yes, but programmed by something even more powerful, emotion. A voice echoed in the chamber, not digital, not robotic, human, calm, deep. You asked why. Now you will know. In the cold edge of the Xeric system, a small alien ship floated in deep space. Its metal hull was cracked. Fires burned inside. Oxygen leaked into the stars. The crew, only 6 left, rushed to send one final message. Captain Dreel, a three-eyed Yalari commander, slammed his hand on the console. "Send the distress call, now!" His communications officer, breathing heavily, looked up. "To who, Captain?" "The Council never answers ships from our sector," Dreel growled. "Send it anyway. Someone might hear." The officer pressed the button. A glowing blue signal pulsed into the darkness. Help under attack. Coordinates enclosed, and then silence. Outside, a large shadow moved across the stars. An unknown ship, the one that attacked them, disappeared as quickly as it came. They were left floating, waiting, hoping. Hours passed. Then a beep, Captain, the officer said, his voice shaking. Someone responded. Who? The screen flickered. No council logo. No known signature. Just one word in bold white letters. Earth. Captain Dreel froze. That can't be right. Earth, the humans? They're not part of the council. No one's heard from them in centuries. The crew looked at each other. No one spoke. Moments later, the radar blinked red. A ship was coming fast. They watched through the main screen as it arrived. It was massive, larger than any ship Dreel had ever seen. Black metal, sharp edges, not a single light on the outside. Just glowing purple thrusters and strange rings of energy pulsing on its surface. "It's not a rescue ship," whispered an engineer. "It's a warship, and yet it did not attack." The human vessel floated silently nearby. It scanned the area once. No message. No sound. Then it fired, but not at them. It launched strange glowing orbs into deep space. The orbs chased something, an invisible enemy, maybe the same ship that had attacked them. In seconds, the orbs exploded with silent purple flashes. Then everything was gone. The enemy was erased. Captain Dreel sat back in his seat, his heart racing. "What just happened?" "I think," the officer began, "they saved us. But why?" Dreel asked. "And how did they even hear our signal?" The humans hadn't spoken a word. No message. No warning. No introduction, just action. The warship turned slowly. Its engines hummed louder. Everyone on the alien ship thought it was going to attack them next, but instead, it left. Just like that. Across the galaxy, in council chambers, alarms rang. Someone had detected the human ship's presence. Ambassador Lishra of the Vulcan race stood before the high table. "I want answers," she demanded. "Who gave Earth permission to enter restricted space?" No one answered. A quiet old man in a corner, an archivist, finally spoke. Earth was removed from the council records long ago. "Why?" "Because we feared them," Lishra's voice cracked. "Feared them? For what?" The old archivist looked up. "For what they were becoming." They were too fast, too smart, too unpredictable. So we shut them out. But we never erased their machines. We never touched their signals, a young council member stood. But why did they respond now? After all this time, no one had an answer. Back on the alien ship, a final message appeared on their damaged screen. It was written in their own language, but they hadn't sent it. Distress acknowledged. Threat removed. Do not send again unless it's real. Earth is watching. The crew stared at it in silence. In the far reaches of space, the human warship returned to its patrol. It floated through dark systems, silent and calm, like a hunter that only strikes when provoked. And somewhere deep inside, an old AI system calculated new patterns. It had received one distress signal. It was now listening for more. The Xeric system was quiet now. Captain Dreel's ship floated slowly, systems barely working. The crew tried to recover from the shock. The human warship, the Dark Giant, was gone. But the memory of it still lingered like smoke after fire. No one had ever seen a ship like that. No warning, no introduction. It had answered a distress call, destroyed the threat, and vanished. No names, no requests, no mercy, but it left a message. Earth is watching. That was the part everyone feared the most. Hours later, 3 council ships arrived in the system. They were sleek, silver vessels from the Galactic Rescue Division. Small compared to the human ship. Their scanners were running hot. Captain Dreel, still pale, welcomed them on screen. "You're late," he said coldly. One of the council commanders responded. "We were unaware of the true danger." Dreel leaned forward. The humans knew. The commander's face twitched. "Impossible. Earth is not part of the active network. They shouldn't have even received your call." "They did," Dreel said. "And they answered faster than you." The council officers looked at each other nervously. Then their computers beeped. A strange anomaly appeared on their scanners. A residue of quantum energy, the kind not used in this century. The signature matched ancient human technology, the kind that was supposed to be extinct. Back at Galactic Central Command, Ambassador Lishra stood in the main chamber. Holograms of the Xeric system flickered in the air. "This is not just a mystery," she said. "It's a threat." Another ambassador from the cold Glavari species spoke slowly. Maybe it was a rogue human faction, an AI left behind. Maybe it wasn't Earth. The old archivist entered the room again. He carried a small box, dusty, sealed with red wax. "I never thought I'd open this again," he said. He placed the box on the table. Inside were fragments of old records, banned from council history. One document had a human logo on it. Earth Defense Network, code Black Silence. "What is Black Silence?" Lishra asked. The archivist read the file aloud. "When Earth was removed from council systems, all connections were erased, except one. An ancient protocol, a silent defense. It listens for one thing, real distress. No lies, no politics, just danger. If it hears that signal, it moves." Lishra shook her head. "You mean Earth set up automatic warships?" "Not just warships," the archivist said. "Guardians, machines trained to detect pain, fear, suffering. They respond like ghosts, fast, final. Back in the Xeric system, the council ships continued scanning. Then another alert, a second distress call, this time from a nearby mining colony in the Norks belt. Pirates were attacking. Dreel heard the news and stood quickly. "You must go now." "That colony won't survive without help," the council commander nodded. "We're already on our way." But then, before the ships could even activate their jump drives, the readings changed. The human ship was already there. A live feed came in. The screen showed a burning asteroid station. Screams echoed. Civilian miners ran for cover. Suddenly, black clouds appeared in space. It was the same ship, no sound, no warning. It moved between the pirates and the station. The pirate ships locked weapons, fired, nothing hit. The human warship shimmered, absorbing the blasts like water. Then it responded, not with missiles or lasers, but with pure energy fields. The pirates were lifted, ship and all, into a strange gravity dome, crushed silently. No fire, no sound, just instant death. Then came the same message again, distress acknowledged. Threat removed. Earth is watching. Now the galaxy was in full panic. The Council's emergency session was held in secret. "No one controls them," one member shouted. "Can we track them?" "No, they appear and disappear like ghosts." Lishra stood. "We tried to erase Earth. We feared their potential. But we left their machines behind. Now those machines are doing what we should have done." The chamber fell silent. Someone finally said it. "Maybe the humans didn't disappear. Maybe they just lost interest in the rest of us." Back at Earth, deep underground in a forgotten bunker, a machine awoke. Its single eye blinked. It whispered into the void. 2 calls received. 2 threats neutralized. Monitoring continues. Behind it, hundreds of warships slept in silence. Above Earth's orbit, a ring of satellites pulsed softly, listening, waiting, and across the stars, in systems where evil lurked, pirates and warlords began to whisper, not about the Council, not about fleets, but about Earth, about the dark ship, the silent response, the warnings carved into moons, and the fear that next time, the humans wouldn't just save, they would judge. The galaxy was changing. It started in whispers, in backroom bars, black markets, pirate dens, and council corridors. Everyone spoke of the dark warship. The ghost that answered distress signals, the machine that destroyed without speaking, and the ancient name it carried, Earth. In the outer moons of the Irix Belt, a group of warlords gathered. One of them, a red-scaled Brannar named Krelth, slammed his fist on the table. "I don't believe in ghosts," he hissed. "That ship is a bluff, a trick." The others stared at him. A thin Sulian hacker, his eyes glowing with tech implants, replied quietly, "I traced the signal myself. It came from Earth's old relay grid, one that hasn't been active in 400 years. Krelth leaned forward. "So what, Earth is dead?" "No," the hacker said. "Earth went silent. That's different." On the capital world of Tyros Prime, the Galactic Council met again. Ambassador Lishra stood before the assembly. "We cannot hide from this anymore," she said. "The humans are still out there. Their machines are active. Their warnings are real." A grumpy old commander barked back. "And what do you suggest? Bow to them? Send gifts? Apologize?" "No," Lishra replied. "But we must understand them. We erased Earth's name from the records. We feared their rise. But now we need to know the truth." The room fell silent. Then, for the first time in decades, the Council voted to send an investigation team to Earth. The cube glowed brighter. The walls around them came alive with moving memory, a story Earth never told. Long ago, before the Council turned on Earth, the humans saw a pattern. The weak were crushed. The poor were ignored. Peace was broken by power. Earth offered change, but the Council refused. So Earth made a decision no other species had made before. "If they won't let us protect the galaxy, we will do it anyway," quietly, and they vanished. They left no fleet, only watchers, programmed to hear real pain, real danger, and answer, not with diplomacy but with judgment. The cube pulsed again. Our silence was not weakness. It was strength, waiting for need. Now need has returned, but we are no longer many. We are code, memory, defense. We do not want to lead. We do not want to rule. We only answer the call. Suddenly, one of the diplomats fell to her knees. Tears filled her eyes. She wasn't crying from fear. She was crying from shame. "All these years," she whispered, "we thought you vanished, but you were still here." "You never left," the voice replied. "We left only your sight, not your side." Outside the chamber, the skies changed. Dozens of Earth ships appeared, not moving, just visible, like guardians rising from sleep. Each one faced a different corner of space. The team aboard Truth Seeker returned to orbit, their mission complete. But the message they carried back was heavier than any threat. It was truth. Earth had not created an empire. It had created balance, and now the galaxy was forced to live under its quiet. Judgment on the criminal world of Hexus. A slaver ship attacked a civilian outpost. They expected no help. They expected no resistance, but they didn't know the humans had. Heard a black ship appeared. Alone, the Slavers opened fire. Nothing hit one by one. Their weapons shut down. Their engines froze. Inside their ship, the lights went red. A voice whispered from their control panels. No more warnings. The galaxy now understood. This wasn't just a war story. It was a new chapter in power, where actions mattered more than alliances, where kindness was protected, and cruelty was crushed without mercy. And somewhere beneath Earth's surface, in a hidden core, a machine rested, its lights dimmed, its heart still, until the next scream, until the next lie, until the next signal, because now the galaxy knew. If you send a distress call, what arrives might not be a rescue. It might be Earth. The galaxy had changed, not through war, not through treaties, but through fear. Fear of silence, fear of judgment, fear of Earth. Across thousands of systems, one law spread faster than any council order. Do no harm, or they will come. People didn't question who they were anymore. They already knew. In a small farming colony on the edge of the Liran expanse, a boy fell into a river. He couldn't swim. He screamed once. His sister shouted for help. The local enforcers ignored her, but the scream traveled far, and too fast. Hours later, a ship appeared over the colony, black, silent, watching. The boy had already been rescued by a kind villager, but the warship didn't leave right away. It hovered, studied, scanned every official in the area. When it left, the corrupt local guards disappeared with it. No weapons used. No words spoken, just balance. On Tyrus Prime, the heart of the Galactic Council, statues were taken down, old monuments celebrating greed. Victory and pride were replaced with a single symbol, a circle, a line, a glowing dot, the symbol of Earth's watchers. Underneath it were 3 words carved in every language. We remember now. Ambassador Lishra stood before the council once more. Her voice was soft, strong, changed. We spent centuries mocking Earth, locking them out, erasing their name from our records. She paused. But now, the people pray for their ships. Not ours. Some council members nodded. Some didn't, but none interrupted. She continued, Earth does not seek power. It never did. It seeks justice. The kind we refuse to give. She turned to leave, then said one last line, and maybe that's why we needed them more than they ever needed us. On a frozen moon, near the Dead Star Fields, a pirate lord tried one last rebellion. He broadcasted an open message across every channel. Earth, I know you're listening, he said, smirking. Come then. Face me, he set traps. Had fleets waiting. Hacked satellites ready. He waited 1 day, nothing 2 days. Still silence. On the 3rd day, he woke up inside his own ship, trapped in a gravity cell. Alone. No crew. No ships, only a screen blinking. A message from the Watchers. We do not come when you call. We come when others scream. Meanwhile, on Earth, the vault remained sealed. The AI systems rested. Quiet but active. In the skies above, black ships moved across invisible paths, never seen by those who weren't meant to see them, and deep below, in an ancient chamber beneath the oceans, a final machine stirred. It had been sleeping for centuries. It was not a weapon. It was not a fleet. It was something else. Its memory core. It contained every distress call sent in the last 1,000 years, real, fake, ignored, silenced. And now, for the first time, it played them all back, not to act, but to remember. Back in the stars, something amazing was happening. Worlds that had once been cruel grew quiet. Warlords vanished. Slave markets were shut down. Peace treaties were signed without a single human hand present, not because of fear alone, but because of guilt. Because now, when a child cried in the dark, someone listened. Because Earth had taught the galaxy something it had forgotten. Justice does not need to ask permission. Kindness is worth defending. Silence can speak louder than war. And so the galaxy moved forward, carefully, quietly, remembering what happened when a distress signal was sent. Remembering what came was not a fleet, but a force beyond politics, flags, or fear, a force built from memory, from pain. From humanity. On a far-off planet, an old man told his grandchildren a story. He pointed to the stars. There was a time, he said, when people sent calls for help and nobody came. But now, when the stars listen, they listen for truth. One child asked, "Grandpa, is Earth real?" The old man smiled. "No one's seen a human in 1,000 years. But when you truly need them, they come." The stars twinkled above, and in that silence, a black dot moved across the sky.